All right, so we did a video last night. It was a little more raw and kind of my first impressions, quick overview, and then just some generic grinding and stuff like that. It was pretty long, again, pretty raw. My thoughts and stuff were all over the place throughout the video. It was like a 2-hour long video. I was also super tired because I'd been almost on up for 24 hours, so I've had a bit more time to actually sleep and kind of look over things and stuff. A lot of my thoughts are still pretty much the same, but I've kind of settled in on how I'm going to build Sephiroth, and I just wanted to kind of go over that. For those of you who've watched some of my other videos, I personally don't like tier lists in a game like this, where there's so much variation depending on your pulls and what your team comp is and stuff like that. I don't think there's any one weapon that is the best for Sephiroth necessarily, or any character for that matter. Again, it's going to depend on a lot of things. If you get a full 5 pink star weapon that's kind of crap, it could still be better than just a base 5-star weapon. So again, there's so many different factors. I just want to kind of go over with you guys how I am specifically building my Sephiroth, and kind of formulate my thoughts and collect my thoughts a little more focus with this video. So yeah, we got my spreadsheet is updated, which I will link down below. I'm going to be linking that in pretty much every video I do. I'm going to try and keep that updated as much as possible. But that's going to have all the all his weapons linked, listed, and all their stats basically maxed out, level 90, 5 pink star stuff. But just so you can see what you're getting at max level. On that note, we're going to give you a little tip here. If you hold and go into the weapon details, you can do this through the wish list as well. So if there's a weapon you don't have, you can go in through there and look at them. But at the bottom middle here, there's these 2 arrows. If you hit it left, it's going to show that weapon, whether you have it or not. It's going to show it at level 90 max stars. So if you want to compare your weapons and just see like super end game, how everything stacks up, you can do that. You can see them at different star levels as well if you scroll through it, but you don't get every single variation of the weapon. But that's how I basically put all these weapons into the spreadsheet, is at 5 pink stars max level, just so you can see their maximum potential, right? So just a little tip there if you want to kind of look at those on your own. But yeah, we're basically just going to go over how I'm building them now. I'm not like super far along yet or anything. We're still grinding, but he did end up being kind of what I wanted in a character in terms of being a magic attacker. I kind of wanted some variety. So right now I'm using Cloud and Aerith. Aerith as my healer, Cloud as my physical attacker. I was using Zac as another physical attacker, which was working great because I had and still do have hard edge on Cloud for physical breaking. So it was beneficial to both Zac and Cloud. But now that Sephiroth's there, it gives us another, gives us a magic attacker again for that variety with this in the team, being able to have options in different situations, right? But the problem there is that unless I was using Aerith's umbrella, there's really nothing that breaks both defenses, and I don't really want to use that on Aerith because healing is so expensive. Personally, I think they need to tone it down. 5 ATB bars for a single heal is a little brutal. And it just would leave her nothing to do. So in harder content where you're getting slammed and you need to focus on heal, I don't feel like I can slot in a break at any point. As much as I'd like to, it's not possible for me personally. But again, everybody's going to have their different experiences, so that's that. But yeah, so it is a little awkward having a physical and a magic damage dealer, but I'm going to try and make it work. So initially, I was actually kind of disappointed in Sephiroth. None of his weapons really jumped out at me being super crazy. His edged wings, they're good. Don't get me wrong, it's a good weapon. It's basically Cloud's Murasame. I think it's got a bit more attack. I think it's 800% versus Cloud's 750 at max level, and obviously ice. But yeah, other than that, nothing got like really jumped out at me in terms of more his utility weapons didn't really jump out at me. And then some are just weird, like Nameless, which we should all have. That's the 5-star weapon we all got. Nameless, something's really off about it to me in that it's a magic defense breaking weapon, but it deals physical damage. It's weird. I feel like this should do magic damage, and this is why. Now, it is really nice because it's 2 ATB bars, so it's fairly cheap. So you can spam it or like kind of slot it into your rotations a little bit easier because of the 2 ATB bars. The problem is that the duration of it is kind of crap. I think mine right now is like 11 seconds. At max, you only get it to 14 seconds. But with how long some of the attack animations are, by the time you ever get them off, this is pretty much expiring. So unless you're spamming this to kind of get a few stacks on there and then go in for some attacks, it's just like it disappears too fast. And then when you are spamming it, if you're building Sephiroth like I am as a magic attacker, well, now this weapon's doing physical damage, so you're not even getting the full benefit of it. Whereas if it was a magic attack damage, because it's only 240%, and that's at max, it's only 240%. If it was at least magic damage, you're breaking their magic defense, so you'd be doing a little bit extra damage while you're spamming it, right? That would be nice, but it's physical damage, so it's a little strange to me. Now, A&EB, I don't know how to pronounce it. A&EB does seem decent because it's our first attack buff. As far as I know, I have everything listed. I don't remember seeing anything that was physical or magic attack up. We have physical and magic attack downs, but no actual like attack buffs. So this is the first one. So personally, this is what I'm going to be using. But yeah, we'll go over these in a sec. But there's just some weird stuff. Everything else is just kind of meh. He's got a lot of multi-target attack things, which I'm not really a fan of. I just don't, whether it's limit breaks or actual weapons, unless it does some crazy amount of percentage damage where it basically equals a normal single target attack type of damage anyway, I just don't really like multi-target. When you think about it, at most you're going up against 3 enemies, right? 3 trash mobs. And sometimes you'll get like a boss, like the lizard things that summon minions as well. But for the most part, if you have 2 kind of DPS focused characters, for me it's going to be Cloud and Sephiroth, or it was Cloud and Zack. They can usually 1 or 2 shot the trash mobs anyway. I don't really need to spread my damage. So I just don't really like multi-targets. So Sephiroth does have a bunch of multi-target weapons, just not really my style. Now, I didn't get like super lucky with my pulls, but I didn't do terrible either. So I got some decent stuff here for Sephiroth, all in 5 stars. I got what, 6 5 stars. 1 was Nameless, which we should have all gotten for free. And then the edged wings I got 2 of from the banner, 1 being the guaranteed. And then I got a few other ones that are just kind of mainly the A&EB. That was probably the biggest one. Getting a couple copies of that was nice. And then everything else was just kind of whatever, and probably not something I'm going to use. Glare-Eat is again another multi-target physical damage weapon. So if you do want to build them physical, you do have an option. But anyway, we're going to get into what I am currently going to be using as my build here. So Nameless is probably not going to see any play from me unless they make changes to it. So our main hand is going to be Edged Wings. I think this is a pretty easy one to pick. 800% max damage at max level. 800% magic ice damage. So it'll be good for basically anything that isn't ice resistant, right? It's going to do solid damage. And then boost magic attack, which is great because we're going to build him magic. And then boost ice potency, which the weapon's ice, so it's going to help out there. And then it's got a pretty solid magic attack damage at 549. So that is what I'm going to be using as my main weapon. And because I have at least 2 stars in it, again, I'm a free-to-play player, so that's another thing that could change your builds. But yeah, as a free-to-play player, I'm happy with my two copies of it, my 1 red star at least. So I'm pretty content with that. But there are some other options that I have been considering for his main weapon here, and one of them happens to be something I actually got a 5-star copy of, which is Shinra Blade Model 1, Model I, whatever you want to call it. This thing has 940% non-elemental damage at its max level, and it's got the crit chance on it too, which from my understanding, from everything I've seen, elemental based weapons do not have any critical rate. Only non-elemental have critical rates. So if you want to build around crit chance and crit damage, then something like this, a non-elemental weapon, is probably what you're going to be looking for. Now, my one problem with this weapon is boost attack. It honestly kind of goes back to, in a sense, the multi-target hits, right? You're just spreading yourself a little too thin for my liking. So you're hitting multiple things, but just not as well. Whereas this, with boost attack, you're getting physical, you're getting magic, but you're not doing any one that great. So I don't really personally like boost attack. If this was boost magic attack, that elevates this even more. And if that was boost magic ability potential, same kind of deal. So that's probably the only thing about this weapon that I don't really like, and probably why I'll shy away from it and not invest in it too much yet. But in the future, if we start running into monsters that are ice resistant, this might be something that I could invest in and bring in those situations, right? Same with Cloud. I can't think of the weapon off the top of my head, but you know what? I can take a look at my handy dandy spreadsheet here. But if we ever run into something that is lightning resistant, Apocalypse. We can pull out Apocalypse, which is 940% physical damage, not elemental, has crit chance on it. So we can always pull out something like that if we invest in it. I haven't fully invested into mine. I think mine's around like level 50, 60, something like that. And it's actually got like 2 or 3 red stars on it. It's something that we can pull out in that situation where we want to use that character, but we don't want them to be less useful in the fight because their main weapon is resistant or being resisted by the mob. So again, this is just an option. If you don't pull any of the signature weapon, the Edged Wings, and you get a bunch of these, could be an option for you. His highest attack percentage weapon. So again, just another option for you depending on what you get. Again, back to Glareed, a physical damage option. I don't think he has too many. If I remember right, he does. Yeah, that's his highest physical based weapon. It's got 540 for its physical attack as a base stat. It's got boost physical attack on it as well, boost limit break potential, all pretty solid. But yeah, it deals 650% physical non-elemental damage to all enemies. So again, going back to like, I don't really like hitting multi-targets. This is hitting for 650%. Whereas what other weapon does he have? Northern Lights, for example, only hits for 510%. So this is probably better. But yeah, I'm not going to be building him physically. I could, but I'm not going to. But this would be a solid main weapon, I think, if you do want to go in that physical direction. This could be a good choice for you. So those are kind of the three main weapons I was looking at as a main-handed weapon. And then now we can get into our ability weapons. So for me personally, right now, and partially because I got a second copy of it, the ANEB is probably what I'm going to use. So this thing has a magic attack increase with high potency on his self. But the nice thing is his duration of 44 seconds. Again, that's at max level. My current one would be what? 40 seconds. So still a solid amount of time, especially with his long ass animations. So yeah, it's got a decent duration on it. And then it also applies regen to himself and magic heal on himself. Those are, I mean, those are nice, but we're not going to be building stats towards those. So it's not going to be anything too crazy, but either way, it does cost 4 ATB. Again, we kind of go back to the how expensive ATB stuff can be and trying to slot those in. But having this for 44 seconds and only having to do it once versus Nameless, where you got to hit multiple times to try and keep that thing on there for 11 seconds. I feel like this will just be nice to hit it once. You don't have to worry about it for 44 seconds. So I am personally going to use this. Now, I don't know all the details in terms of like how much magic defense down does compared to magic attack up, right? I don't know all the numbers. I don't know what the percentage of defense is going to strip from a mob. I don't even know how much defense a monster has, stuff like that. There's a lot of unknown factors, at least unknown to me, that I'm just not sure which is the better stat. But because Cloud doesn't benefit from magic defense down, I'm just going to kind of avoid it, whereas this is going to benefit Sephiroth himself, and Cloud can just kind of do his physical breaking on his own. Sephiroth can buff his own magic attack, and then they don't really need to try and help each other out. They can kind of be self-sufficient, and I can just have Aerith off on the side healing. But yeah, ANEB is what I am personally going to be aiming for. It's got boost HP on it. It's got boost ability potential or potency. Again, it's one of those split ones, right? It's not. I would prefer that to be boost magic ability potency. And I'd like the HP to be a little bit higher, but the magic attack buff could be nice. Again, it's the first time we've seen a magic attack buff, so we'll see how beneficial that ends up being. But yeah, that's what I am going to be using as my main and my what do they call it? Ability weapon. But again, you could use Nameless. It could end up being good. I'm kind of hoping they buffs a little bit, and mainly the duration. It would be nice to see that, because a lot of times it feels like you're constantly trying to spam like a defense down or something, and not really getting a chance to attack too much because of that. But we'll see how things go in the future. But those are probably my two picks for ability weapon, would be either ANEB or Nameless. So again, if you don't pull ANEB, you're getting a Nameless for free. Everybody should be getting one, so that could be a perfectly fine option to have, right? Now, getting into sub weapons, these are currently what I'm going to be using personally. They just kind of seem to synergize with what I'm aiming for with him. So first of all, we got Mithril Saber. We'll go over that first. This is a Cloud weapon. So this is going to give me boost magic attack. So I should go over what I kind of look for in my sub weapons. Basically, I look for two weapons that give me as much of the main R ability I'm looking for. In this case, with a physical attack or a magic attack, or I'm looking for magic attack, right? For Cloud, I was looking for physical attack. So I aim for the best, the 2 best physical attack or magic attack weapons that I can find to put onto a character. And then I look for an HP boosting our ability weapon. And then obviously the stats that go along with it. So in this case, Mithril Saber is a magic attack boosting weapon for its R ability with 40 points. It does have a decent magic attack stat as well at 518. And then again, we come back to boost ability potency, which is, I would prefer that to be boost magic ability potency, but it is what it is. We'll take it. But yeah, Mithril Blade is currently what I'm aiming to use here on Sephiroth, but that is a Cloud weapon. And then we'll go over Absolute Royal, which unfortunately I only have 3 stars of. Would be nice to get more, but this is another one that's boost magic attack plus 40, and then boost ice potency plus 36 points. So the way I look at this weapon is this weapon is to Sephiroth as Broadsword Axis is to Cloud. So Broadsword Axis is boost physical attack and lightning potency, whereas this is magic attack and boost ice potency. So both Absolute Royal and Broadsword Axis, funny enough, they're both matte weapons. They both really, what's the word I'm looking for? Complement, that's the word. Complement the kind of signature weapons of both Cloud and Sephiroth, right? They do the same kind of thing for each character, which is nice. So Absolute Royal is something I am building towards for Sephiroth. Again, it'd be nice to have higher starred versions because I can't level this Absolute Royal up anymore, which does kind of suck, which means I can't get the ice potency. I just don't know if I want to do more pulls right now or save, but I'd really like to get this. It is on my wish list. At least get it to 4 stars so I can upgrade enough to get that boost ice potency. We'll see. We'll see. But for you guys, if you have a bunch of copies of this, even 5-star plus, that could be a good choice for you. And then lastly, we've got Power Soul, which I actually used to have on Aerith, which we'll get into in a minute. But I actually moved it over to him. But this has got boost HP on it of 40 points. And then it's got boost magic ability potency. Again, boosting magic ability is kind of what I'm aiming for. I like either physical ability boost or magic ability boost. I don't really like the kind of little bit of column A, a little bit of column B ones. So that's what I'm using here. It's got a solid magic attack stat on it of 549. So yeah, this is basically the setup I'm using for Sephiroth right now. Still working on it, still trying to level up, still trying to farm materials. But yeah, those are the 3 weapons I'm using for sub abilities. But I do kind of want to go over some other ones I have listed here that could slot in here. I should probably pull up this guy. So one of the weapons I was considering is actually Aerith's Sun Umbrella. So if we go up here, right here, so it's got a decent magic stat on it of 530. It does have some healing on it as well with his ANEB, with his regen and stuff like that. It could contribute. And then the main thing though is that it is magic attack plus, but it's also boost magic ability potency. So it's got both of those on there. Again, definitely a choice you could use if you're not using it on Aerith, for example. That could be something you fit in and might actually be a little bit better. What would I be replacing that with? Oh yeah, over Mithril Saber. You guys can't quite see this, but yeah, Mithril Saber. Actually, we can go over here. Where's Mithril Saber? So Mithril Saber, we're looking at 518 for magic, 210 for heal. So Sun Umbrella is 530, 231. So it's definitely better in that that regard. And then I think both of them, actually we can go over this tab. Both of them are 40 to the magic attack stat, boost stat for the R ability. But then again, remember I was saying ability potency, I'm not a big fan of, but this has magic ability potency. So this, I might actually switch. I might actually switch. I have to decide whether I want to try and put Sun Umbrella on Aerith and use that break or not. But yeah, Sun Umbrella is probably the better choice here over Mithril Saber. And I might actually go with that. Now that I'm thinking about it a bit more, I might actually go with that. I think I do have a copy of it at 4 stars. Let me see. Where's that umbrella? Where are you, little umbrella? Oh, no, I only have a 3-star version of it. So I might put this on my wish list again with Matt's Absolute Royal, and I might actually pull a little bit more and see if we can get some upgrades on this. But yeah, Umbrella might actually be better. Keep that in mind, consider that. Yeah, I might actually change that for myself. Another potential option is what is it under? Boost HP? Yeah, so the Mithril Type O Katana. The problem with this one is it doesn't really have the greatest physical or magic attack stat. It does have a decent heal, and it does have boost magic ability potency, and it does have boost HP on it. So that could be something. But yeah, again, it has worse stats, so that part I'm not too much of a fan of. And because it's got the 260 heal on it, I actually have that on Aerith right now. That is what I pulled when I pulled Power Soul over from Aerith to put on Sephiroth. I actually threw the Mithril Type 0 Katana on her because of that heal boost. They're basically very similar, both Power Soul and the Katana, in terms of both our HP boosts, both our magic ability potency boosts. But yeah, the Katana is better for healing, and the Power Soul was better for magic attack. So that's why I switched those around. But yeah, those are kind of all the options that I've been looking at, and I don't think there's really too many other ones I have been looking at. So yeah, kind of use that information how you want to use it. Again, I don't really believe in a tier list in this type of game because there are just so many factors that come into play. I think it's going to depend on what you have, what you want to build, what your party setup is. And you can kind of go from there. Again, going back to Nameless, for example, you might have an all magic attack party, and you might be happy to use Aerith and her umbrella as your defense breaker, so you don't need to put Nameless on Sephiroth. You can use his ANEB, and then you and your other magic attacker can do all the damage that way. So again, it all depends on what works for you and what you have, what you've pulled. But I just, again, wanted to give you guys some information on how I'm looking at it, how I'm building, to maybe give you guys some ideas. And then you guys can kind of make your own decisions from there. But again, I'm going to have the spreadsheet linked down below. So make sure you check that out if you need any stats listed for yourself. Again, I have my stuff broken up down here. So I have all the listed things here that are main R ability being HP boost, main R ability being physical attack, main R ability being magic attack, and then I've got all the different elemental stuff, all the healing weapons, all the buffing weapons, all the breaking weapons, and then I've just got the entire full list of all weapons as well, which should be updated now. I don't think there's any sneaky hidden weapons that I've missed just yet, but everything should be listed here. Yeah, so check that out, and hopefully that helps you. But yeah, that is basically it. I just wanted to do a more kind of clear, concise, collected my thoughts after sleeping and actually having my brain functioning properly. Wanted to get all that together into one video that's a little bit shorter than the 2-hour one. Mind you, this is probably going to be pretty long as well, but yeah, hopefully that helped you. I am streaming this live currently as of, well, I don't know if I'll be streaming it when this is uploaded, but I do stream this on occasion. If you want to check that out, that'll be linked down below as well. I've got a Discord. I've got all the other stuff down there. It's all in the, I'm not going to do the like, comment, subscribe, bell. I'm a Twitch streamer. I don't do the YouTube stuff very well, but all the stuff's down there. Hopefully that helped. Hopefully you enjoyed it. And I will catch you all in the next one. Take care for now. Bye.